Kevin Barnett in the Carbide 3D studio with 5 must-have tools. Accurate measurements are critical to your success and integral to your failure. Digital calipers are an absolute must when it comes to running a CNC router. You have to measure the thickness of your stock accurately, or guess what? You have no tabs when you put tabs in. And that's not it. You also want to know if your machine is producing the items the way that you indicated in your design. You need to be able to measure elements after you've produced them. When you're designing things, trying to lay them out for size, you should also be using those calipers during the design phase, just so you understand the dimensions of what it is you're putting together. Digital calipers, 100%, buy them, buy a couple. They're not even expensive these days. Have them next to your machine, have them on your desk, have them in between so you can lose them. They're like glasses, you're not gonna get along without them. Number 2 is a stiff brush. Now I know you have that toothbrush from college in your toolbox. That's not gonna cut it. Buy a purpose-made stiff brush that is designed to remove fuzzies. Particularly in V-carves, this is gonna be really useful. And when you're working with wood, you don't wanna go as far as a wire brush. These guys come in packs of 10 or 15, readily available on Amazon. These are perfect. They have a thick end and a thin end for getting into those tight little crevices and removing fuzzies on projects. They're either gun cleaning brushes or something similar. Buy them, but one word to the wise, don't use them to brush your teeth. That's not gonna work out for you. Number 3 is sandpaper. Is that too obvious? Is it even a tool? If I wrap it around a jig, does that make it a tool? I don't know. But the range for wood projects is going to be 120, 180, 220, and 330. And honestly, for most projects, 180 and 220 is more than enough at the machine. Anything beyond 330 is just so you can say,
I started at 60 and went to 2000 because I'm a real woodworker. Where's my chisel?
For metal projects, 600, 800, and 1500, all wet sanding is what you want. You might go one lower or one higher depending upon your goals, and anything beyond 1500, you're talking about being on a polishing wheel. It's pretty inexpensive to buy yourself a wide selection of grits as well as a bunch of sheets so you can always whip out a fresh sheet. Don't get stuck using that tired old folded up mess of sandpaper. Just whip out a new sheet and be happy, all right? Number 4 is a set of T-handle hex drivers, and I'm not talking about Harbor Freight here. Buy yourself a nice set of T-handles. We use Bondhus. You're gonna use these a ton, and you don't want them twisting like red vines or Twizzlers. Oh, and by the way, which one of those do you like? The L-shaped hexes included with your machine are fine, but T-handles are much better for daily use, and I put money into tools that I use all the time.
That makes perfect sense.
T-handles is where I'm going to stick some cash. Number 5 is files. Large to small, as diverse as your projects, you can't have enough files on hand. They're good for being tab killers, also for removing parts to your project that, let's be honest, you failed on, or quickly shaping something to decide if you want to add an extra feature to your cam later. Files are old world tools.
Now you're a real woodworker.
They're available at garage and estate sales for 25 cents, $1. You could build a collection for next to nothing. In fact, this set came out of my grandfather's shop. I'm happy to have them and I use them all the time here in the studio. Buy them, hang them on the wall, put them next to your machine. There's a lot you can do with files to improve your making. That's our initial 5. What are your next 5? Tell us in the comments below and we'll be back in the studio with more information, ideas, and inspiration, and maybe more from this dude.
And make some of them real woodworking tools. None of this digital fancy stuff. Hand tools, or else it's not real woodworking.